Hi everyone and welcome back to another card making video featuring the August card kit by SSS Stamp. As always, let's take a look on what's included. A big stamp set with a huge flower composition, lots of flowers and sentiments, and there is actually a matching die for this one if you want to grab that as well. Now, in the kit you'll also find this set of dies. I will be using them for one of my cards today. I find them so adorable. You will also find pattern paper, just like always, really busy but gorgeous, stunning colors, look at that. One side is so busy with all those colors and big flowers, the other side is very pale, so you can choose whatever you like. Then in the kit you will also find a 3D embossing folder, a beautiful flower composition. I think it's one of those very elegant designs where you can just emboss and then stamp the sentiment at the center. It would make a lovely design for a very elegant anniversary or wedding card, I believe. Then you do get some ribbon and I will be using it today. Lots of tiny foam squares, always handy to have. A microfiber cleaning cloth. Again, one of those really handy ones to have in your craft room. This is one of the big envelopes and you will find that there is a pre-folded big card base for you to use that fits inside that envelope. And then you do get a pre-folded black one in the standard card size. Again, pre-folded, ready to go. And you will also find 3 colors of cardstock. A purple, a pale blue and a white, and actually the white is watercolor paper. Now in the kit you will also find 3 colors of the new Distress spreads. So if you haven't tried them before, you do get the opportunity to play with them, and if you do like them, you can build up your collection. And let's start with the first card for today. I'm going to use the dies included in the kit and I'm going to cut out everything from white cardstock. You can definitely use colored cardstock or pattern paper. I just went with white because I want to play with my die inks today. So just because these are very small pieces of paper and I want to use my die inks, the blending tools on top, I don't want them to move around. A good way to work on those is if you have one of those mats by Waffle Flower where everything sticks on top, and then I can go ahead and start ink blending. I'm using the dye inks from my own collection with Stamperia, and the colors that I'm going with are Burgundy, the darker one, and then Poppy Red for the lighter shade of red. I'm going to cover up everything of the flowers, with the Poppy Red first, just to give a good first layer, and then I will use the Burgundy, but with a finger dabber, to make sure that I have some darker edges where I need to have that shadow. Now I get a lot of questions about the cups that I have on my blending tools. These come as they are with the cup, and they are again from my signature collection with Stamperia. As well as the finger dabbers that I'm using, they come with the cup as well. For the stems I'm going with Fresh Green. It's a beautiful bright green, and then I will use a finger dabber without even inking it up, just with what it has already, and just add some darker shade of green on one side of the stems. Now the ink that I used is dye ink, which means that it reacts with water. I'm just going to splatter a few droplets of water here and there. This is going to lift some of the color and it's going to look like dewdrops on the finished project. I'm just dabbing the excess and I'm ready to put the flowers together. Now we can definitely stick all the layers one on top of the other with glue or by using foam tape, or if you have something squishy like a mouse pad or this mat by Simon Says Stamp, you can use your ball tool on the top layer of the petals and add some dimension on it. So I'm just rubbing, and this is going to give that curve. Then add a foam square on the inside to keep it nice and dimensional, and just stick those layers together. And now the ball tool that I used is a dual tip tool One side is a needle, the other side is a ball that makes it super handy to have in your craft room. Again, one of my signature collection tools that I have released. Now for the stems, all you have to do is to add a little bit of glue at the top part and just stick it on top of your flowers. I'm using my matte glue, which makes sure that even if it makes a mess, it's not going to show because it dries completely matte and disappears. Now for my card design, I decided to create a frame. If you do have any type of rectangle dies, just run them through one inside the other to create a frame. I happen to have one that gives you that lace, but just creating a plain rectangle will do the trick. So now I'm using one of the pattern papers to cut out a panel for the background, and if you notice, I was planning to use the inside of that frame that I cut out as a backdrop, but I decided to just leave it without it since I do have blue already from my pattern paper. So for this card I'm sacrificing the beautiful flowers from this side, but don't worry, I will show you in the next card some ideas on how you can use those type of pattern papers and you can easily recreate that style. So what I did here was just stick it on top of my card base. Now I want to make it look more interesting, and just because I am into mixed media a lot and I love splatters, I'm just going to add some white splatters here and there, completely optional of course. I'm using thin strips of foam tape at the back of my frame, and this is where you can turn this card into a shaker card if you like. However, I'm just going to use it as it is. Then peel off the backing and just stick it down. To make it look more interesting, I'm going to stick that frame on an angle, but you can definitely place it straight at the center. I just find that it makes it more interesting if you give some movement on the elements that you stick on top of a card. Now on the inside I'm going to arrange the couple of flowers that I have. So here you see I auditioned that flower and I liked how it looked against the pattern paper, so I decided to omit sticking that other panel that I have prepared on the inside, but you can definitely go ahead and do that if you like. I'm going to stamp one of the sentiments from the stamp set. I'm using black ink for that, and then I'm going to cut it out and stick it on top of my card base. To finish off my card, I'm going to add some dots at the center of the flowers, as well as some scattered dots here and there. I like that whimsical look that it gives, and I'm using the Iridescent contour liner for that. A clean and simple look, but I absolutely love the finished result, and it can be a card for really any occasion, depending on the sentiment that you use. Now I'm going to show you a couple of ideas on how you can use the pattern paper. And don't mind my finger, I just tapped my finger with scissors, just forget about it. So just because these are papers from the same pattern paper, all the colors match lovely together. So what you can do is mix one with the back of another one to create a lovely color composition for the top of your card. You can see here how this lovely matches together, but really anything that you place on top is going to match beautifully. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. I'm going to cut out a couple of panels so that I can layer one on top of the other. And since this is a very simple card, I'm going to add some elements to make it look more interesting. So at the back of this panel, I added a thin strip of glue so that I can hold the ribbon in place. I'm going to tie a lovely bow at the front of my panel, and I need to make sure that this ribbon is going to stay put. Now, back in the day we did use, like 5, 6 or more years ago, we used to use ribbons on top of our cards a lot. And to tell you the truth, I really miss those days. Ribbons always add that extra something on a card. So I'm going to tie that bow, and having that band-aid on my finger doesn't help at all. But anyway, I'm going to pretend that it's not there. And then just place one panel on top of the other, either align them perfectly or on an angle like I'm doing here. Now, having tied that bow gives a romantic look and feel on my card, so I thought why not use that die that I used previously with the lace on the border. and just cut out a couple of strips to tuck them underneath, just here and there, completely randomly. Find the placement and stick them down. I just added a sentiment and a few dots with my contour liner and my card was ready. And I'm going to show you one more idea on what you can do with those pattern papers. Just use a circle die and cut out a window. You can easily turn this design that I'm showing you now into a shaker card if you like. I'm just going to use it as a window. And then from the leftover pattern paper, you can cut out some leaves or flowers that you like. Just use the scraps and your scissors and fuzzy cut some of the images. These are going to be great elements that you can pop on top of your design, and it's going to bring it more to life, making something super simple into something more special. Now, to tell you the truth, the plan for today was just to share the first card, because I wanted to film more videos, but when I started playing with this card kit, I just wanted to share more and more. So I ended up with 3 card designs, and by the time you are watching this on my YouTube channel, I will be officially on a summer break, but I do have pre-scheduled videos that will pop up from time to time. So here again I'm adding some dots with my gold contour liner, and you can see a very simple card, but at the same time it looks stunning, plus it has some dimension that makes it look more interesting. Here are some close-up photos on the last card and the rest of the cards that I shared for today. I hope that you had fun, that you got inspired. Links to everything I used can be found down below in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a lovely summer.